It's 8:01. We're close. Get this party started so we can go back to our little heater. You ready? Okay. Sunshine, that's right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this nice, crisp April morning that we have. So thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. We'll go over the information that we covered at the board meeting that was last Thursday, and then give some other updates and introduce some new staff that we have here with us today, and then leave time for you guys to ask any questions that you might have. So at board meeting, we were fortunate to have 5 of our various groups that came and spoke. We had National Technical Honor Society, BPA, DECA, FCCLA, and Skills USA. So we had 5 groups that were there with us, and each of them presented to the board, talked about their organization and what they do. And the board also got, since we have had DECA and BPA State Leadership Conference, the board, they were also presented with a pin for DECA and BPA. So they were able to take those with them. So we also handed out to the board members we have the dot map that Kim did an outstanding job on, and so now we have the star map, which is an outline of our business and industry services across the state. So we have the career programs that are listed in the dot map, and I know that's a highly technical term, but until we think of something else more creative. And then we have the business and industry services one that is with the star map. So if you are working with companies and they want to know what specific services, not only about the pipeline for our career programs to help fill their positions, but are there specific services that we can offer for their current workforce or as they transition, then we kind of have a basic outline of services that are through business and industry services. But one thing to remember, even though it may not be listed in here, we still can help them with that process, and may not have the class tomorrow, but we could help them potentially set that up for the next day. So if those are available, if you guys have a need for those, or hand those out to various groups. First Robotics kicked off. I know there was some coverage on that this weekend on social media and various outlets, but it kicked off and there were 60 teams that were there, and we had Arkansas, Texas, Mexico team, and Kansas, and I think one other state, and of course Oklahoma. And out of those 60 teams, 12 of those were career tech teams. So very exciting, good turnout. It's great to watch the kids and their competition pieces. Also, one of the things this week that we will have, Indian Capital Technology Center will be receiving an advanced CTE award on their nursing pathway, on their pre-nursing that they offer for high school students, and how they have that pathway in place with their other partners. So they are receiving a national award at the National State Directors on Thursday. So we'll be seeing some information put out about that after April the 5th. So excited to have them receive that national award. We had the opportunity for our rules, all of our rules were presented for the board, and there was a motion to approve each of the rules. Went through the comment period. There were no comments provided, so those rules, now that they're approved by our board, will go to through the finishing processes. Usually they become effective in September, usually second week in September. Unless they are voted on sooner than that, then they will go into place in September. So that is out there. We got through one step, now we've got a couple more to go. Also, we had 4 accreditations. Dawn did a great job, and her team was there, and they did a great job. They approved all 4 accreditations for Autry, Canadian Valley, Gordon Cooper, and Middale. So those were approved in moving those forward. And then we also talked a little bit about the legislative update, talked about some bills that are out there besides our appropriations bill, which hasn't been introduced yet. But last year, actually for 3 years, we've been talking about a partnership with the Construction Industry Board of helping to recruit individuals into the area of construction. That bill was laid over last year. It is going to be heard in committee, so it's alive. It has gained life last week, so hopefully that'll help us with our partnership with the Construction Industry Board. There's also legislation out there specific to cleat training. If there is a higher ed institution or technology center that would like to offer some cleat programming in a specific area, if it's approved by cleat, then they may be able to do that. So that could potentially help some of our academies that we have, our law enforcement academies that we have in their training, helping those students be better prepared, and also that age gap, because they need to be a certain age to have the complete certification. So that is a bill that CLEAT has out there, so that gives us another opportunity for that. There are multiple bills out there specific to work-based learning and how we record that for the state and what that looks like. In the executive order that we talked about, I think we talked about it at state staff meeting in December, the Earn to Learn executive order, where it talked about obtaining 20,000 work-based learning experiences in the state governor's executive order. The legislation on work-based learning, those particular things, they are mechanisms to help gather data on what work-based learning experiences do we have in all educational aspects in the state. So each of those are moving forward. We're watching those. That would give us an opportunity to help individuals know what we do in Career Tech, that we have work-based learning experiences, those type of things. So gives us an opportunity to help educate people about the classrooms in Career Tech. So those are some of the areas. Also, our bill to move the STEM communities to our agency, being the designated area for that from CASMEO. That one is moving forward as well. And those are some of the specific bills to our agency outside of the budget conversation and those particular things, because a lot of information last week as far as special session and moving bills forward. There was a lot of activity in those specific areas. The ones that have been signed by the governor are specific to the itemized deduction was signed, the teacher pay raise was signed, making sure I don't forget one. Those are specific ones that have been signed by the governor. There are other ones that have been sent to the governor, and this is as of Friday. So if there has been signage of any of those since Friday at probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. But the appropriations budget for the State Department of Education, that one has been sent to the governor. Also, the motor vehicle tax exemption has been sent to the governor. The land run cigarette tax stamp has been sent to the governor. Healthcare enhancement fund sent to the governor. Gas diesel levy has been sent, and the state employee pay raise has been sent to the governor, and the education support personnel pay raise has been sent to the governor. That was those transpired last week. And the revenue raising bill, that one actually has been signed by the governor, which is your cigarettes, little cigarettes, tobacco products, motor fuels, GPT, and lodging. So that one was approved by the governor. So those all transpired last week in conversation through special session, except for the appropriations bill is 3705 for the State Department of Ed. All the other ones have a special session bill designation on them. So those are the one question that you may have on the state employee pay raise piece. It is signified in there. It's a tiered pay raise piece for state employees. The first tier is 40 and below. Then you have other tiers, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70 and 70 above. When we calculate that of what it looks like for our agency, to be able to fund that, we would need appropriation of $295,000 for that appropriation to meet that bill. So we're watching that one very closely. The other part, and in the conversation of the teacher pay raise, in the teacher pay raise and the general appropriations bill that was for the State Department of Education, the dollar amounts that were raised, that was appropriated to the State Department of Education. So our teachers who are in K-12, they would be a part of the State Department of Education's appropriations. Our teachers who are in technology centers, they are a part of the teacher pay raise. However, we have not received appropriation for that money and where that would go. That is anywhere from $10.5 million to $14 when you include the support employee conversation in there. So we still currently right now with just the teacher pay raise being signed for us here at the agency and to the technology centers, currently that teacher pay raise for technology center teachers is unfunded. So we will be working on that piece. So that's kind of where we're at with the and the state employee raise. It has, since it's been sent, if that were signed, that would also be a mandate that we would have. And so in our general appropriations bill, we will look to make sure that that dollar amount is included in our appropriations. So those are some things that are in the works and where they're at with the legislation. We also have a teacher certification bill, which originally started out with the teacher certification bill, moving it to ODCTE for career tech teachers. In conversation with the State Department of Education, we're hoping that we can put that in the rules for the areas of concern, and it's primarily for instructors that we hire from industry, in looking at ways that we can streamline some of that process. So we're working with the State Department of Education right now to look at if we can add that to the rules, add it to their process, provide an option in there for those who come out of industry with certain industry experience, like we've done for multiple years, especially in our trade and industrial areas. Look at what that looks like and provide some options there. So we're still working with them as we continue to move that forward. Each of you in the program areas that would be directly impacted by that. It is for teachers employed at technology centers, so those that you may be impacted by that, we're going to want to make sure that you look at that and we get your input as we work to move that one forward. So the other piece is a curriculum bill that was actually brought forward from some superintendents in common education, and it is the conversation around the credits that technology center, 3-hour technology center programs get to count for. So we're working through that with the State Department of Education and seeing how that one moves forward. So working with our common education superintendents, tech center superintendents, and then and the State Department of Education, so we can meet the concerns of that were addressed by the students, and then see how we can move that one forward. So those are some ones, just a few that we're actively engaged in and moving that forward. We have OEIP, the Oklahoma Education Industry Partnerships. That was, save a date, was sent out last week. That registration will open soon. So just let it know that it is out there soon. In how many minutes? 45 minutes. In 45 minutes. See, when I say soon, that's what we mean. That's just how fast we work. It'll be open today at 9. So usually those fill up fairly quickly, but they are offered this year at High Plains in Woodward, at Northeast, at Mid-America Industrial Park in Northeast Tech, and then at Canadian Valley for the central section. So looking to move that one forward. We have some postings that are out there. We have a business and information technology specialist, program specialist. That position is posted. We are also looking at reevaluating 2 or 3 years ago, 4, time flies when you're having fun, maybe longer than that. We are also evaluating, looking at filling one of the positions that we've had open for 3 to 4 years in the internal auditor role, looking at evaluating that and where we're at, see if there's a way that we can evaluate those pieces. And then we also have a retirement in finance that Susie will be retiring, and so done great work and continues to do great work for us. So we'll be evaluating and looking at that position in finance. Susie's done a great job of stepping in there and picking things up and moving them forward. So we're going to miss you and wish you all the best in your retirement. But that is another position that we're looking at. We also had on the board agenda that we were proposing for, originally we were looking to hire a resource manager. The individual that we had selected for to recommend to the board for that position decided to pull their name from that about 8:30 on Tuesday morning. So we will be, haven't had a chance to look at that and reevaluate it again, but on the resource manager, we're going to step back and reevaluate where we're at with it and continue to move forward there. So we also have 2 new employees that are here with us today. One of them, this is their first day on the job, and they get to come and be here in morning chat with us, and that is Ellie Goldman. Yay, Ellie, welcome Ellie. Ellie will be our communications and event coordinator, replacing Sherry Goad. So everybody will probably be coming up. I got this conference now, I got everything. This is her first day. So she's going to go down to HR first. So if you have things for maybe this afternoon, but today is her first day with us, and we're glad to have you. Our other new individual is Patty. Patty, welcome aboard. Rithaler, right? Rithaler, yeah. She's payroll specialist. She will be replacing Leanne, who Leanne will be moving with our finance team, who is taking Kristen Josie's, who Kristen Josie has transitioned to Steve's when Steve chose and left us in December, January, October. Time flies. See, I say time flies when you're having fun. So our finance team, Leanne's moving to the finance team, and Patty is coming on for payroll specialist. So welcome aboard, Patty. This isn't her first one, but this will be your first start of your next week. You started with us on March 26th, so we're glad to have you. All right, I think that is all the announcements. Oh, one other thing. How could I forget this? Perkins. Congratulations to everyone on the outstanding Perkins professional development. I have heard substantial comments, very excited. And the other part that individuals are very excited about is the applications are out there. They're alive, ready to go. The process has started. So I know it took a lot of work on a lot of people's part, and I thank you for that. The field is happy with all the support and working through it. So congratulations to each of you. I know many of you stepped up and helped make that happen. It was a cross-sector work of many. So thank you so much for that, moving that one forward. And the applications and supplemental grants are out there, so yay. And all of you that are helping with the lottery grants, thank you for that too. I know those have been turned in, and so now we're in the process of running those through the rubrics, so thank you guys for that help as well. So, what questions do you have? No questions? Yay!
And I don't know whether the bike division knows this, but the rookie of the year actually was a computer science teacher from the
Yay!
Oklahoma. So, I'll send you guys a picture.
So thank you, Tina, for that. I did see the picture of the chairman that was, I saw that last night, was posted up there, but Gordon Cooper won the chairman award, and then the rookie was bike teacher, yay. And where was bike? Asher. Oh, he. Okay, yeah. Asher.
Asher, Oklahoma.
Great.
With a mainly girls team, I want to.
Great. So go Career Tech. Yeah. But it was very exciting. Had an opportunity Friday morning to speak with some of the students, not only on the field but in the pits, and have a little conversation. Corey was there. We got to talk with the students a little bit, so it was good. And yeah, I know. She said she came back on Saturday. It was good, and all the sponsors were given. First Robotics, something, it was like a tile. They were given a tile for First Robotics, and inside of there it talked about how that was made for the sponsorship as their recognition. And when you read that, Autry Technology Center and Gordon Cooper Technology Center, along with a business in Oklahoma City, they were the ones who were chosen to make that sponsorship recognition. So that's pretty neat. All of the sponsors got that. Gave them an opportunity to see the different things that we can do within Career Tech. So it was really good.
Represented Nate Brubaker was a referee all days. It started Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Kevin Taranis from TNI was a robot inspector. And I don't think his knees will ever be.
Kevin's our new. Did he get to wear? Because when they announced him on the field. Nate was announced as a zebra because he was the referee, so that's what they called him all day. That was how they announced it. And Kevin, did you guys have a special title to be the robot inspector? No. Were you yellow hats? Okay, and then safety was a certain one, and yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. Any other? Yes. Carrie had a good question. If, as I talked about a little bit before, the teacher pay raise, if the legislature does not provide the appropriations for the technology centers because they are included in that bill, then it becomes an unfunded mandate. So the way to do that, and an example that we actually have right now is the underfunded mandate of health benefit allowance. So the way that we as an agency, we have to fund that. So the way that that's done is out of what we would be sending to the classroom in a technology center. It's out of that operational piece that we would be sending to the classroom. We have to take out of that to be able to pay that. And that was about $12 million. So out of that same process, we would have to take about $10 to $14 million out of their operations to send specifically for that unfunded mandate currently. So that's where it would come from. It would come out of their operations that go to support their classrooms. That's the scenario that we have currently. So, and on average, the State Department of Education has put together a really good frequently asked questions sheet. There were a lot of questions about what does this mean, what does it look like, and on there they also have on their website a conversion because the paragraph in there that says if you may be above the minimum salary schedule, you get that step or that percentage that may be in the table. It's spelled out a little bit differently, but that's kind of the outline of it. So there's a conversion of what that would look like. So if you were a teacher with 10 years and you were nationally board certified, it shows the dollar amount so the individuals could see what the difference was. So that's on State Department of Education's website. They did that conversion. But that's what it'd be an unfunded mandate. So the schools will have to make up that difference. And the way that would work is their operational piece that we usually would send would have to fund that, which would probably be to the point that some of them would not get anything for their classrooms. And they may even also, to have to make up that difference, require them to pay local dollars to make up that difference. Especially after we do health benefit and the other pieces. That bucket has dwindled substantially over the last 4 years. So, but they haven't started working on our general appropriations yet, or a draft or those particular pieces. So that's the conversation that we want to continually make sure is known, is that if our teachers do qualify for this, so we need to make sure that the appropriation follows it appropriately, because that part does not come through the State Department of Education. So good question. Other questions? No other questions? Yes. Yes.
So accreditation is finishing up for this year, so we're looking for examiners for next year. So applications are due by April 15th. You have them in your inbox if you're interested.
Yes. So if for any of you, our live viewing audience out there, if any of you missed that exciting announcement, Dawn wants you to know that you, by April 15th, if you're interested in being an accreditation examiner, you still have time. You did not miss the window. It should be in your inbox for your convenience. It does, through the examination process, through the accreditation piece, I know it takes time, and I know it can be daunting for the time period that you're there. It's long days when you're doing that accreditation, but it is substantially rewarding for the schools to have you there. It's substantially rewarding for us to be able to capture the great ideas, the experience that you guys have as we continue to move it forward. So if you do have the opportunity to and have the time frame to be able to be an accreditation examiner, we would greatly appreciate it. It does means a lot, and that is a role that we have as the state agency. We get to be an accreditor recognized by the United States Department of Education. So we want to make sure that we do that right. So if you are interested, applications in your inbox. Please get that sent in.
So when would those on-site visits occur, and which schools are they?
They're in your email also.
Yeah.
There are 4 this fall. 3 of them are 3-day site visits, and 1 of them is a 4-day site visit. 2 are in October and 2 are in November.
So the question was, when are those site visits going to be? Because that does require some time commitment. That information is also in the email with the application information, but site visits will be in October and November. We have 4 schools that are up for accreditation this year. So check your calendars for October, November. Check the email, the dates that are in the email, and see if that fits into your calendar. 3 of them are 3 days, 1's 4. Good question. Other questions, comments, announcements? Ready to enjoy the spring weather? Or not. All right. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Welcome our 2 new employees. Thanks for joining us this morning. You guys have a great week. And if you need anything or have questions, don't hesitate to let us know. Thanks.